Welcome to Uncle Michael Savage. Well, today we're going to go away from the horrors of the world, from the horrors of war, from the horrors of man's inhumanity to man, and not talk about politics. We're going to talk about an onion, just an onion. And today's podcast or YouTube piece is called Why a Sprouting Onion is a Good Onion. Dismiss this as trivial if you will. I could care less what you think if you know nothing about food and health, which I've studied all of my life. Years ago, many years ago, all produce was sprayed with the dangerous herbicide maleic hydrazide, and most of them are still sprayed with it, by the way. It's a plant growth regulator that prevents cell division, and it's sprayed on potatoes, onions, garlic, and carrots to prevent sprouting during storage. Unfortunately, it's carcinogenic. And I wrote about this when I first stumbled upon this information decades ago. And I remember writing a book in the early 70s entitled Bugs in the Peanut Butter for Children. It was voted as the best science book for children at the time. I was very, very proud of that, frankly. It's long forgotten. Bugs in the Peanut Butter. People laughed at the title, but it wasn't a laughing matter. It was concerned with toxins and microbes and bugs in our food. So the more I looked into it on my road to my doctorate at the University of California at Berkeley, which I'm very proud of, boys and girls, I'm not going to hide it. By the way, I'm growing my goatee back if you see a little stubble here. It's one of the things men can do is take off their beard, put on their beard, grow their beard. I don't have maleic hydrazide on my face, so my beard is growing back. I want to see how the goatee looks. It's like the portrait of Dorian Gray. But getting back to the onion, this is a beautiful onion. Now, you could eat the sprouts, by the way, once they grow. Onion sprouts are wonderful, but it's the same with the potato. If it's sprouting, it means it hasn't been sprayed with maleic hydrazide. So it's a simple little thing of a couple of minutes today, and it's called Why a Sprouting Onion is a Good Onion, boys and girls. And try to buy, if you have the money and you could find it in your market, organically grown produce. It makes such a world of difference to you to eat foods that are safe and healthful. I know the world is going to hell right now, but it doesn't mean I have to stop learning and teaching, because much of this information has never been taught. Much of it is unknown. Look how beautiful that is. Looks like the antlers of a deer, doesn't it? Looking into the camera. Now, I could launch into a story now. I've held the onion up for a while to something more interesting to me. It's about secrets of Fijian medicine and folk medicine. I told you about that 2 weeks ago. It contains all the secrets that I was able to collect over many a year and compile into a single book. It took us years to be able to get this back up on Kindle. It has more information about the subject of secrets of Fijian medicine that you'll find in any other book. And the interesting thing about folk medicine and what drove me to it is that when you think about people who've lived in isolation, like in the Fiji Islands, for at least 20,000 years before Europeans invaded their islands and brought the good and the bad with them, they learned to live on the resources of the land and the sea and the air without destroying the land, the sea, and the air, unlike other cultures, which have killed everything in sight. And so they learned also how to treat their own illnesses. That's the beauty of folk medicine. You say, well, it's all crap. I'd rather buy it in a grocery store. Well, go ahead, buy it in a grocery store. You wind up looking like the hosts on Fox News on Sunday night. Medicines of the earth. I've been writing about it, reading about it, living it for most of my adult life, because it will be what we have left after civilization is gone. And only those who know how to sustain themselves from God's earth will be able to sustain themselves after man has destroyed God's earth. God forbid that day ever comes. Many of you are into survival foods in America or in Europe That's very important. But remember, the Fijian people, the Tongan people, the Samoan people, Tahitian people, all of the island people of Oceania and other dispersed island groups of the world learned how to survive without packaged goods, without seeds from a store. How did they do that? And not only that, I want you to think about this for a minute. Not only did they learn how to just survive, which animals can do, but they created a material culture as well. Not only a material culture, but art and poetry and storytelling and music with nothing. They made instruments out of nothing, and they learned how to play instruments. Man needs more than food to live. What did Jesus say? Is it written? Something about bread. Man needs more than bread to live. I forget exactly how it was said. It's 100% true. We need our bread, but we also need our culture, our civilization. I don't want to launch into borders, language, and culture, but you understand where I'm going. Once they take away our borders, language, and culture, they stripped us of everything worth living for. You may as well be a dog rummaging through rubble. But I don't want to get political right now. I just want to say everything can be seen through the sprouting of an onion. And that's where I began, and that's where I will end today. I will not talk about primitive culture, Fijian culture, but I've spent a lot of my life on this. It took me years to get this book published. Then it was stolen by a merchant in Suva who copied it, stole the book, and sold it for free. I think we regained it back from that crooked piece of garbage. The bookstore owner in Suva, whoever you may be, we're on to you. You crook, go back where you came from. You're not even Fijian, you bum, you. You stole my life's work, and you stole the work of the Fijian people, because I never made a dime from this work. It was all a donation to humanity, you bum, you. Something you wouldn't know. I better stop here before I say what I really mean about. So all of the secrets of Fijian medicine, let me read you one example that you may find interesting. Itsia bayuga. In Fijian, it's called vesi. This hardwood tree found in Fiji grows 40 to 50 feet high and has great spreading branches. It was formerly a sacred tree of Fiji. Pressed liquid of the stem is given to treat an asthma attack. Pressed fluid of the inner bark is used as a remedy for pain in the bones as well as for treatment of colds and flu. The bark may be steamed and used in healing bone fractures. Headaches are treated with the pressed liquid of the root, and the bark is used for poisoning small children. Witchcraft. How do I know that? I didn't hear that on the news. I don't care what you heard on the news. That's what they discovered it works for. There are so many other things. I remember cutting my finger and it never, ever became infected. The people I was with pulled an herb and put it on the wound and stuff like that. Natural antifungals, antibiotics. So it's fascinating. Nature has always been fascinating to me, and I appreciate you listening. Again, we'll close with this discussion of a sprouting onion is a good onion. And I hope you've enjoyed this small little tip from Uncle Michael Savage. Hope to be back in the near future with another small tip from nature. Bye-bye.